high if you show me your okay.
Are you a red wine person?
I think I am.
Do you care?
No, I also don't
either.
care. Yeah, I would drink either, but I think if I'm going like taste wise, I think I like the sour.
There's
grapes.
a zone that I think is like a good zone for alcohol obsession, and the zone where I need to care about wine on the sideways movie level. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
Oh, that's bullshit too. Did you know that?
Thank you. I'm ready. Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will's family had a winery growing up, or Will's like grandmother had a vineyard. Had a vineyard. Okay. Yes, in Napa. Don't worry, all the money is basically gone. But
I wasn't
had
worried.
one.
Yeah. I was not worried about that.
So had a had yada so that they when Will was in college, they took the intern at the like wine place, and so he had to take some classes about what it all meant, and it's basically bullshit.
Took wine classes.
Yes, had to
so
take
none
classes.
of it, so all the tannins and stuff.
Nah.
Do they think it's hilarious when you're using a decanter? Is that like the funniest thing in the world?
Man, I think decanters are hilarious, but I mean, most people buy into, even the people that know it's not real, like buy into it and like basically make it real by will of force.
Is somebody like, if somebody pulls out a decanter of wine when you're like, and they're like, here's wine.
Yes.
What are your instant thoughts about that person? What are your judgments about that person?
This is so funny because the person that we were just talking about the last time I was over, that's what they did.
A decanter of wine?
Yeah, pulled out the decanter of wine.
This is bullshit. Just
I
pointed
mean,
at
we
it.
were all laughing because when you filtered it, it made a sound. It sounded like it was farting through the glass. So we were all dying laughing as we were using this wine decanter to decanter like super cheap wine. So it was really funny, but in seriousness,
You don't have a judgment.
No, I would.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
So I have a friend, and like I have no judgment of this, but like my version of wino is the Scotch Fiend.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now I've been in Scotch clubs. Okay. I was in a club called Gentlemen of the World. Yeah. Yes.
Whoa.
We would have the, I think we call it the four bases, which is like we would have the standard four that we would drink.
Yeah.
And then someone would do a presentation of a Scotch.
Wow.
Yes, we'd have like a little bit more. So we're having like 5 drinks at this club, by the way.
Yeah.
So we'd have a pour of some, whatever the fuck. We would drink it and like share our observations about it and all that. Fine. And then someone would do a gentleman's presentation, we called it, which was just teaching us some new thing that dudes do, like how to tie a bow tie. Yeah, or like how to make your shoes look nice. Just that kind of stuff.
That is so cute.
That's what we used to do.
I
Yeah.
love
We used to do that. I was still doing that all the way up into film school, and I was like, I just don't have time anymore, man.
Aww.
Yeah, so that's still an acceptable amount.
That's fun.
The unacceptable amount of Scotch obsession to me is like the amount where we're talking about where to get bottles.
Yeah.
Like I've done Scotch hangouts where it's like, you can get this bottle at Bevmo till next month. They have this like 100-year Dickel or whatever the fuck, and you're like, I don't care if it's at Bevmo. I just don't. I'm not gonna do that. That's how I feel about, like, it's just too nerdy for me.
Yeah.
You
You're
know?
like, I'm not that deep in it.
Right. It's like people who like play baseball and they're like, listen, what's his xFIP? And you're like, I don't want to know what that is. Like, I'm not, like, I'll talk batting average.
Right.
I understand
that's your
that.
thing, but I don't need that to be.
But
my
xFIP is not a thing I want to talk about. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
It is.
This is that show you've come to know and love, if you know it, or love it. Yeah. Maggie liked that intro.
I did.
This is the show where we share various media experiences and talk about how they relate to our lives.
Yeah.
Oftentimes these experiences are curated and selected by our patrons.
They are.
That's you, and we are grateful. Our gratitude's going to span this whole episode. You'll see.
Oh, really? Should I start it now? Should we go back? I wasn't full of gratitude.
Maggie's not that grateful yet. She's got to work up to it.
I'll work up.
She'll work up to the gratitude. Okay, fair enough. Maggie, how you been doing? Tell me what's new in Casa de Maggie.
Good. Things are good. As this podcast knows, I'm getting married soon.
I don't think they knew that it was happening soon.
Okay, well,
so it's
now
2
I
weeks
do.
from now.
2 weeks from now.
From the moment we're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. It's
Yeah.
also it's like fun and surreal at the same time because up until now everything's been hypothetical, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, all hypothetical.
yeah. Like I can
Yeah.
think of it as a 2D version.
Yeah.
Like, 2D, I want these colors, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then as it gets closer, it's like, oh, wait.
Yeah,
supposed to be in
it's all been
4D.
storyboards, but
Yeah,
you're going
yeah.
into production soon.
Yeah.
I get it.
Which is actually really funny because when Will was planning it, Will was like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I've run set before. We need to feed people this time. We need to do it." And it was like, "Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah. Wedding parties are kind of like film sets.
yes."
They actually they're financially like them too,
They
as you're
are.
discovering.
Yep.
In fact, I teach that sometimes. That fact.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's fun.
This is a little boring. No, it's not. I don't care. Here
it's
it
good.
is. You ready?
Yes.
So I have to teach students budgeting. I did. I'm moving on to directing, which is wonderful. But I've been teaching budgeting,
Yes.
among other things. And budgeting for food in a film set is boring
Yep.
because it's hard to conceptualize it. And so the best way for college students to learn, I've found, that I could think of, was like, how many of you have ever been married? Let's start with that, right? And they're like, one of them has usually, which is great because then
Yes.
we're like, ooh, what's going on there? You know? And so I'll ask them, so did you have a reception? Yes, I did. Okay, so how did you plan for how much you're going to spend on the reception? And inevitably they talk about, well, I had to figure out how much per head I was going to pay for these meals. And I'm like, that's right. You had to decide who was worth $40 of your life, of your money. And some people, you just didn't love $40 worth of chicken's worth. I understand that, which they like. And then they realize, oh, that's how you do lunch.
That's a great-
That's how you plan
yeah.
lunch, is like how many people are going to be there, how much
Right.
per head. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's not so daunting anymore. Anyway, now you all can budget a film. Sorry, Maggie.
There you
I don't
go.
mean to
Or
steal
a
your
wedding.
thunder.
Or your wedding.
Or your wedding. I don't mean to steal your
Did not
thunder.
steal any thunder.
Thank God. If it was your wedding day, you wouldn't be saying that.
And
So-
if anyone objects, please stand.
Oh my God. What if somebody stood up? What would you do? What would you do?
Who
Would do it? I know. Who would do
would
it? But if it
My
happened,
ex isn't coming, so okay.
what if they did though? What if they showed up and they were like, "I object to this, Maggie," and like they were trying to almost,
Wow.
they were trying to like John Cusack.
Yeah. I'd be like,
Get
too
the
late.
fuck outta here.
Yeah. Too little, too late.
Do you have any bouncers for this purpose?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're my ushers, but
Yeah, but they bounce.
If push comes to shove, yeah.
Which it
They'll
would.
do it.
In that event, there'd be a lot of pushing and shoving. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Great.
Sviat could take a few.
Okay.
My friend. He's from the Ukraine. His name is Sviat Nikonechny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you brought in
Sviatoslav Nikonechny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. You brought in the real thunder
Brought in
here.
the big guns.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I like that. Can you give us a survey of your fears and hopes and how you're feeling about it all?
Ooh, mostly I'm just excited. I'm very excited. I don't think I really have any fears. Well, and I have not written our vows yet.
Yeah, you'll whip it
But
out.
we will. Yeah,
You'll whip
yeah,
that
yeah. The wedding coordinator's like, people write them day of. We're like, okay, well, we are not going to do that.
What are you thinking of? What are you thinking of vowing?
Ooh. Well,
This isn't going to come out ahead of time.
No.
So what do you
Yeah,
give us a
yeah,
sneak
yeah,
peek
yeah.
here? What do you?
Well, I did because and also we want a third party to read both of ours to make sure they're the same length and
Notes.
yada.
Yeah, you want notes. I get it.
Yeah. We want notes. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna point out like a small intimate moments and be like, those are the moments.
We're gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep being like
we're
that.
Gonna keep doing that.
Okay,
Keep
so
feeling
you're not
that.
prepared to make any extravagant promises.
I mean, I think we're so comfortable with each other at this point that it's like we've kind of already.
You don't need
made
this,
them.
really.
Right. We don't need, but I mean, it is gonna, it's gonna be great. And my dad's gonna sob the entire time.
Oh my God, that's the
Yes,
highlight. Is that I'm
yeah.
gonna meet your parents.
Oh, that's right.
That's gonna be so good.
I'm
Okay.
very excited for.
Yeah.
you
Well,
and
I
my
don't mean to
parents.
make it about me. I'm more excited about your marriage, obviously.
I love all of my friends, and I love that like my friends will get to be, like I said, like my college buddies who I love, like they're all gonna be there.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Are there any things you need to hear to be satisfied in the vow department?
No.
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 Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Breezy on this. Okay.
Will like, does a great job of
Yeah.
being like very sentimental.
They are very planned.
Yes.
They are very planned.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Not really.
So you seem pretty. This is all chill for you.
Yeah. I'm so happy. There's nothing. Yeah.
Okay. She
easy
seems happy
breezy.
to me, guys. This is not one of her greatest performances.
Yeah.
I feel like this is good for you.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Good for you. Okay, great.
How
Would you
you
care
doing,
to?
Adam?
Well, would you care to share with the audience what you asked me to do for your wedding?
Yes, I would.
It was hilarious.
Love to.
Okay, yeah.
So we have an officiant who was one of Will's friends. But he was flying in from Alaska.
Yeah.
From
Alaska?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if I
Great.
did do that.
No, you didn't. Okay.
He's flying in from Alaska.
Wonderful.
Currently works there, and he called the other day, mostly to chat, but at the end, did bring was like, hey, just in case something crazy happens, like my flight is canceled and I can't get there, you might want to have someone who can officiate and just in case. And we were both like, absolutely, Adam.
I'm a backup officiator. Backup, baby. Backup.
Yeah.
Second gun on that one. I genuinely laughed my ass off when I got that. So just very quickly, we haven't discussed this at all. Do I need to be ordained? Do I need to get an ordination for this?
I don't think so. There is
Okay.
a website.
You can do it in 30 minutes.
Yes,
I know that.
Yes.
So it's not a problem, but I'm just
yes.
asking,
Yes.
is that a requirement?
If anything goes awry, we should be able to get you on a website, and you should be officiated within minutes.
Little did I
I'm
know,
sure.
after all these years, it would be Maggie Mae Fish's wedding that would get me back into the ministry.
I know.
After all these years.
know.
Little did I know. That's funny.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't. I hope, of course, my services will not be needed, but also amazing. What an amazing thing that you asked me to do,
Yeah.
and I will do it because it tickles me, and it'd be very fun.
Yeah.
It'd be very fun.
Yeah.
I think you'd feel nervous though once you actually pulled the trigger on that. You'd be like, please don't fuck around.
Nah. Well, I mean, the reason that we have the officiant we do have is because most of the wedding party is my friends.
I see.
So
Yeah.
the officiant was Will's.
I see the need.
Yes.
I see the need.
So I mean, and he's a bit of a jokester. He used
good.
to host the UCB cage match show.
Oh, great.
Uh,
Right in
yeah.
your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So I assume a lot of high fives. He used to do a hot for teacher dance before.
Hot for teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
He would put on a hot for teacher and just like run. He used to open for Drew Carey when he
Okay.
would. Yes, that was his.
Oh, so okay, this guy's eminently qualified.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to my qualifications only that I'd been asked to MC weddings. I don't know, 15 times, so many times, and I did it. I probably did it like 4 times.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just a random thing people ask me to
Yeah.
do, and I never received instructions. Never. It was always like, listen, can you just handle it? Can you just handle the
just
reception?
handle
Just
it.
like that was my job. Like fill for 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was my job, to fill for 4 hours.
You would be. I feel like you would be good at that though.
No, I did okay.
Yeah.
I did okay. Yeah, nobody was bored. That's always the key.
That's always the key.
Also, I'm not afraid to dance publicly. You have to
That's
have
very
that. Yeah, you gotta have that. What a promise.
I heard it here, folks. And it's recorded, so.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, we'll see if I was full of shit or not.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking how I'm doing. I'm doing well.
Yeah. You had a vacation.
I've been on vacation.
Yeah.
This is my 5th week. It's been wonderful.
That's amazing.
I mean, there's been some little things I've had to manage from work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've still been screenwriting a little bit and doing podcasting,
Yeah.
obviously. So, and at this point now, playing video games is a job. So in that case, in that way, I've been working all the time, but
Right.
it's been nice. It's been nice. I beat 4 games this year already.
What?
4 games.
What are the 4 games you beat?
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
Horrible game. Also great game.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible and great.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
I beat Wolfenstein, which it made me very angry.
Which one?
It was like a reboot that came out in 2014.
Okay.
It just was really annoying in some ways. And also like this will not be my most popular opinion, but like I don't care about killing Nazis that much. Like I'm not like I'm like okay.
Yeah.
Other people seem to really get a rage boner for that, and good for them. I don't.
It's probably because it's socially marginally socially acceptable killing, so you can really revel in the.
I guess. I mean, if you've ever played a Grand Theft Auto. Or any Call of Duty, it's like, yeah, you've already killed millions of people.
Yeah, but they
digitally.
don't like to think that. They don't like to be reminded that they've killed pedestrians. They like to.
Well,
remember
I don't think they care that much. I don't think any of them
true.
care that much.
That's true.
I just killed like 20 dudes in Horizon Zero Dawn this morning. It's like no big deal.
No big deal.
Also, just to clear it up, Subnautica I played again and beat. Which you've never seen the end of that game, have you?
I've watched it online. I didn't beat it though.
Great game. Anyway. And then a game called The Artful Escape, which was meh.
Oh.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm doing fine. Cody and I we wrapped up. We're 99% done with one thing, and we're moving on to another thing. We hope. And Mike and I are working on a script.
Oh
and
yeah, you mentioned that. I meant to ask about
that one's going good.
Good.
That one's based on an idea I had like 15 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. I won't say much about it because I'm done spoiling it.
Let let the work speak for itself later.
Well, those of you who are on YouTube who are furious that we never get on to the topic fast enough, I'd like you to know this is minute 16 and we're about to thank our producers.
Oh my God. I didn't realize people were mad at us because I don't read comments.
You're lucky you don't because they're not that nice about that.
Okay.
I try to check in on stuff whenever I can, but we have too many luscious producers to thank.
We do.
People who picked today's topic, in fact, and also they voted on general topics. They've always had our email access. They can email us whenever they want.
They can tell me how tall they want me to be, and I'll be like, sorry, I'm not. I'm 5'5".
Thank you. All of you who are sending those tall guesses.
Yes.
Maggie's going to respond soon. Yeah, okay. Do you want to start our gratitude?
I do.
Are you ready? Are you ramped up?
Yes, I've ramped up. I'm 100% gratitude. I've maxed out my gratitude.
Maxed out gratitude.
Yeah.
She's basically floating now. Yeah. Rainbow feet. Okay.
I have my full good Catholic girl.
Yes, you're holding your hands. A slight halo is formed.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That's actually, so I'm not.
Well, that's coming up today.
It is.
Big time.
It is.
Yeah.
I was going to say very quickly, I'm not wearing a white dress.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know if I told you that.
You did not?
Yes.
No white dress.
No white dress. I am changing into a white dancing dress later, but for the ceremony.
I just tell you, not because I want to disappoint you. It would be better if the dress was on underneath. If it was like a wrestling moment. Just first
that
dress comes off,
fucking better.
white dance dress. Yeah. That feels very Maggie to me.
I used to have rip-off pants when I was on the basketball team.
Yeah.
Those highlight. Yeah.
That, but a wedding outfit? That feels a little Maggie-ish for me. Anyway, gratitude. Let's do it.
I don't know if it can work. Okay. Thank you, Adam Tanium Jello.
Thank you, Adam Tanium Jello.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful person.
I was watching a baking show, and someone put Jello into their muffin, and it turned out terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would think that it would do a lot of good things to muffins.
Apparently not. I know. I guess I was kind of surprised too. But and then I think about it, the two textures, maybe they just don't get along.
So don't add Jello to your muffins.
Don't add titanium Jello to your muffin.
A lot of gratitude early.
And I'm out of gratitude.
So I'll do the next one then.
Okay, great. Okay.
Thanks to Taylor Carriage.
Thank you, Taylor Carriage.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Robin Sunday.
Robin Sunday.
Woo.
What is this person like a camp counselor?
Yeah.
You know, like or running a therapy / camp counseling business.
Yeah.
Therapy in the winter, camp counseling
in the summer.
Robin Sunday.
There you go.
Bringing happiness to all
Robin's a
people.
great name. I like that.
Robin Sunday?
Yeah.
I mean, she could also be shooting threes in the WNBA. Like,
I
it's
know.
like an amazing
I was gonna
name.
say,
yeah. Robin Sunday.
anything.
Great.
Thank you, Daniel Christensen.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Tony Fahey.
Thank you, Tony Fahey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Person who owns a yacht.
Oh, absolutely.
We got at least one yachter on here, right?
Yeah.
Are you opposed to yachts?
No, no. If someone else has a yacht, I will gladly ride.
Yeah, I'll spend an afternoon on a yacht. Sure.
I'm more of a tubing gal. Like I know, I know. I
don't think you want to tube me on a yacht. Yeah.
I know. But I do, and I would. So there's that.
Okay, so Maggie promises those of you who are yachters, she'll go on your yacht.
Yeah, but only if I can
to
be gate dragged behind it.
Yeah,
and go
in the worst possible backwater from a boat, from a nautical vessel.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to Faye Inouye.
Thank you, Faye Inouye.
Thank you to Kyle Schrotel.
Thank you, Kyle Schrotel.
We love him so much.
We do.
Okay.
Thank you, Christina Ruiz. Did you say that?
Ruiz. Yeah. Ruiz. Christina Ruiz.
Ooh.
Also known as Breezy.
Oh, Breezy.
This is
Okay.
Breezy,
Oh,
aka
yes.
Breezy Ruizy.
Yes.
Scientist, cooking up experiments in our hearts.
Yeah.
All of them turn out for love, though.
Everything's chemical, even love.
What an assertion to make today. Everything's chemical.
Everything's chemicals if you think about it.
All right.
No.
You got a very Architect from the Matrix view,
I got
of
very
reality.
woo.
Okay, great. Thank you to Garrett Cooper.
Thank you, Garrett Cooper.
He just missed the Wild West.
Yeah.
Could have seen him as a cowboy.
Yeah, he got there and he was like, "Howdy," and they were like, "No, we've moved on."
They're like, "No,
"No."
Put on this, derby hat.
Yeah.
We're not doing cowboy.
They've all been disillusioned.
10 gallons have been thinned out, my dude.
Yeah. You're either gonna be a clown at the rodeo or you're gonna ride a bull.
Yeah, put on some glasses and a trilby.
Yeah.
Solve some capers. That's what we're doing here now.
Yeah.
The Old West is dead, motherfucker.
Hope you're okay, Garrett Cooper. That's a lot to take.
It is. It's a big identity change.
Big identity.
Okay.
You, Benjamin Egan.
Thank you, Benjamin Egan.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's the only person I think for sure is a college professor.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Luigi's Mansion?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Professor
Love it.
Egad. I love it too.
Thank you for bringing that character up.
You're welcome.
They only recorded his dialogue once, and they've repeated it every game.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's the same
that's why
fucking
it
sounds.
doesn't,
They don't even change them.
Nah.
Yeah. Also, the most recent Luigi's Mansion. I'm gonna go off with this tangent.
Okay,
I don't
great.
give a
I
shit.
played it, so
Yeah.
I will know. Yes.
The funniest thing in the world is that, first of all, the two characters, when they talk, they don't speak English. They speak jibber jabber, right?
Yeah,
It's like, okay? The funniest thing, though, is that Luigi doesn't have powers. Mario does.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time the franchise is like, yeah, Luigi's the shitty one.
Yes. Categorically, that's why he needs all
why
these
he needs the
gizmo
vacuum.
gadgets. Yeah. He cannot do anything.
Mario's jumping up the platforms, and
Yeah.
Luigi's like, no.
No. That's why I love Luigi's Mansion. It
Right.
finally gives the underdog. Who doesn't love an underdog?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love?
Yeah.
Finally gives the underdog the spotlight.
It's a really good game
It's a
franchise.
good game. Yeah.
We deleted it on a one-upsmanship, but we still liked it.
Yeah, I
did
don't
a
like it a lot.
Thank you to Joel Harper.
Thank you, Joel Harper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have basically been whaler and beer jokes for Joel Harper.
But yeah, mostly
Yeah.
because of the harpoon.
I mean, right, and because of harp, the ale. So I don't know exactly what you really are. I don't have it ready for you, Joel, other than maybe you work in candles.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of a person who makes candles?
Candle maker. Candlestick maker. Yeah, because it's the...
But they don't have a fancy name, like a wickster?
It is now.
Joel Harper, Wickest.
Wickest.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks to him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to Platypus Gestapo.
Thank you very much.
Probably not his real name or her real name.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But platypuses are, I love the way they look. I used to have a platypus beanie baby, and I was like, that's not a real animal. And I looked it up, and it's like, oh, it is.
That's when you realize Pokemon were real.
Pokemon were real.
Because platypi are basically the transition from creatures to Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like
like
the in between. Also, in Alice in Wonderland, there's that like honk, 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 honk animal, and I remember asking, yeah, that's supposed to be like a platypus type. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about the Disney one, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny how universal that movie is. Everyone's seen that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a fun analysis of it that I don't know if we have time for, but I'll share it with you later.
Well, we'll get to it, but we have a few more people to thank
do.
first, I would say. Thank you to Ben.
Thank you, Ben Blank.
Ooh.
Because it's just Ben.
Yeah.
So Ben
I could
Blank.
see Ben Blank being his name, though.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. Ben Blank?
Yeah, and he's a spy.
Clearly.
Yeah. He can just
clearly.
fill it in with whatever.
Yeah, but he's working, his day job's like in insurance or something, right?
Yeah.
He's like underwriting loans and then he's fucking investigating them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's
that.
doing. Okay. Sean Bibinet.
Sean Bibinet.
This guy is just a frozen yogurt king.
Ah,
You know?
Yeah, people come to him for suggestions of what frozen yogurt to
Yeah,
buy.
what should I do? And he's like, have you tried coconut peanut butter jelly? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, okay.
Like Ben and Jerry are vomiting out
Yeah.
ideas, and Sean Bibinet, they're like forever rival,
Yeah.
spewing out
He stands in
ideas.
grocery stores.
And just beautiful minds ice cream.
yes. Or if you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
He appears coated in a thick sugary haze. Yeah, great. Strange character we've made out of this man. Okay, great. Thank you to Rye Wyke or
Why,
Weish.
right.
No correction has been issued to Rye.
Great.
From Rye Weish.
Great.
Or
I
Wyke.
always, my instinct is to always spell things phonetically. And I
Yeah.
found out it is because when I was little, and I have written proof of this, before anyone taught me to read, I like knew the alphabet. So I would sound words out and just like write long stories where every word is spelled phonetically. And it looks like the ramblings of a serial killer, but it was young Maggie trying to figure it out.
I mean, every time there's a window into young Maggie, be it an Instagram post of your deviled face giving a smirk or this story, it's always like, what a miracle child you must have been.
I recently found out it basically rewires your brain to first think phonetically because
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So.
Well,
Don't
again,
do that,
to
I guess,
our-
if you're a child listening to this.
or do it.
Or do it.
You turn
I
out
turned
fine.
out fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible speller, but
Yeah.
spell
But,
check.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody's like, how do you spell?
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't be CEO.
Right. And if they do care, they're an asshole. And you can tell.
They're
you
not
know it.
CEOs. CEOs don't check spelling.
That's true.
So if you want to be a CEO, don't get into spelling.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way.
It's for losers.
Spelling's for suckers.
Losers.
So to our YouTube audience, it's now minute 27 when we're getting into the actual topic.
Oh, great. Well,
Don't care.
Yeah. I think that's a good record.
So our topic today, unusual topic, I have to say.
Did you come up with this or did someone
This
from
is you.
This was me.
Yeah, this is your idea. Oh, wow. This is your idea. And the reason I give you this mild glib glance is because I knew instantly when you sent it to me, I'm like, this is the one that's going to get all the votes. Like I knew it instantly because it was like a perfect topic. So
I think very relatable. I think everyone has a movie that they saw that's just like,
I think it also, yeah.
Huh.
Well, we'll talk about it. Yeah. So the topic is the movie, your movie that changed your view of history. It's pretty broad.
pretty broad.
Yeah. I struggled a little bit to find the right movie for this, but Maggie did not.
I did not.
Maggie did not.
No.
And so because of that, I think we should lead off
All right.
with Maggie's pick,
Let's
which
do
was
it.
Spotlight. What a movie. Now, I've watched this 5 times. I've watched this movie a lot of times.
Wow.
It's still good.
It's so good.
It's directed by an actor. Now, I mean, a lot of
makes
movies
sense.
are directed by actors.
Yes.
This guy really hadn't done a lot, and he was sort of famously in the season of The Wire that wasn't the good one.
Oh, yeah.
He was
okay.
fine in it,
Yeah.
but like that's kind of where everybody would know him from.
Right.
And then he just directed this incredible movie. Wow. And it's like, whoa, you know, like 10
That
years later.
makes sense. This movie, and like, it's very emotional for a lot of reasons, but
Absolutely.
it's very like calmly emotional in a way that does feel very active. Like the actors are allowed to act.
It's mostly an acting.
It's mostly
film.
acting. Yeah, it's not even very plot heavy. You know, they.
Oh, it's very plot heavy.
That's
it's
true.
not like the
Yeah.
director gets out of the way of the actors.
Yes.
There's really
yes.
good camera work, but it's not. There's nothing about it that there's no flashy anything.
No.
It's all very real
Yes.
and grounded.
It feels very true to its like journalistic, you know, like
to its premise.
Yeah.
Do you want to give anyone who has not seen this film? By the way, I think it was a Best Picture winner.
Yes. Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I think it was a Best Picture winner. Do you want to give a summary
Yes.
of what this film is about.
Yes. So Spotlight covers the Boston Globe uncovering the sex scandal of the Catholic Church in Boston, which kicked off the investigation of everywhere. Yeah,
it's sort of ground zero for that controversy.
Yes.
It's not the only film about that subject. In fact, it's not the first film about that subject.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's many films
that's-
about it.
yes,
like Mystic
yes.
River was a year later, and it was
That's
about it.
right. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. This one came out in 2015, and it was about literally the journalism angle of that.
Yes. Yeah.
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 What else you want to say about it?
It's a great. All the performances are great. All the actors in it are great. It's very grounded. Again, like we stated, feels very true to its journalistic roots.
Yeah.
And it's just again like very quietly, extremely emotional and
It is.
important. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Which characters stood out to you the most in this film? I mean, how many times have you watched it?
I watched it probably 4 times at this point.
And who stands out for you?
I mean, they all stand out in a particular way. I, as a young woman, Amy Adams.
She's
like,
great in this
she's
film.
phenomenal in
Really
this
good in
film.
this film.
Really good. She's amazing in it. Stanley Tucci is
Yeah.
amazing
He
in
is.
it. He is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, even like all of the people that they interview, all the actors who are playing the kids or the grown kids of who would have like.
Yeah, those were the casting there was interesting because it seems pretty clear to me that was not, those people didn't seem like they were from central casting.
No,
They seemed like he found people from the area that were interested in acting.
Yes,
Because they all felt so authentic to Boston.
Yes,
Like it was like, wow,
yes.
that's a Bostoner.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Bostonian, excuse me.
Boston, yeah.
Anything else?
And I love Michael Keaton. Like
He's so good.
he's so good, especially in this. This is a great role for him to play, and also, I mean, like the Irish Catholic angle. Like he looks so Irish. Like I know, like 3 dads
he looks
that
the part.
look
Yeah.
like that.
So can I ask one? I think there's like one performance that I've really vacillated on in it because I just want to do this part before we get into it.
Great. Yeah.
What do you think of Mark Ruffalo in it? What do you think of him?
I think he's great, but like I meant, when I'm thinking of all the top performances,
Now I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say he was nominated.
I think I would assume he was. He was not. I think he was nominated for the Normal Heart, which I think was maybe a year after that.
I'm looking
so I might have
to
mixed that
see.
up.
I mean, I'm sorry for doing this real time. He was nominated for Spotlight in 2016. Also, he was nominated the year before for Foxcatcher as well.
Oh, I do like Foxcatcher. People don't like that. Some people don't.
Yeah,
like
he's been up a few times. Kids Are All Right. He was great in that too.
He was great in that.
What did you think of him in this movie?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because I think of all of the characters. Yeah. It seems like, but why? Like, why emotion? I don't know. I guess I had the most trouble connecting to him, but
It's interesting.
But he loves these type of movies. Like, I'm sure he was like, I want.
Oh, he was salivating over this role.
Yes.
Well, he put
yes.
on a really serious affect for this.
Yeah.
Like he's doing a thing with his mouth and his eye, and he's working very hard to be this grizzled, hard-nosed Boston reporter.
Yeah.
His intensity, I've met people as intense as him. So it exists.
Yeah.
But it's very rare. Like he's wound so tight.
Yeah.
And but he also is the guy that has the yelling scene, which is why I remember that he was nominated because he has that yelling scene. And he has, I think, one of the most interesting pieces of trivia about that character that I want to revisit when we get later into this conversation.
Okay.
But this time when I watched him, I didn't believe him, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's me or if it was him. I did believe it the first time. There's such a thing as watching it too many times because it's a put on.
True. Yeah.
Like he's doing a whole
Yes,
thing.
Yeah.
So it's tough,
Yeah. And also, I mean, again, like when you see him in real life, he is such a And again, not that, he is a lot more like soft spoken and he often plays, softer roles. And not to say that he,
This is way out of type for him.
Yes.
Way out of type.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, this is more out of type than there's not a lot of actors who've been asked to go this far from what they are. It's very far for him.
Yeah.
He's a chill out guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's sort of a gentle spirit for the most part. So this is not that.
Yeah.
Very far from that. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So history.
Woo!
So this movie changed your mind about history, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think more on an emotional level rather than like factual level. Okay. And not because I didn't know that it happened or whatever, but again, like to view this movie and to like feel the feelings along with everyone else, it just like, I think.
Well, can you describe what shift happened?
Yes,
can you describe that for me?
So I will give a background info.
Yeah, I think we need one. Yeah.
Yes. So I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I went to Catholic school, and sixth grade was when at least the first big one that I had heard about that was like common knowledge of like, oh no, there's a terrible sexual scandal in the Catholic Church. And the day that it broke, I remember sitting in class, with my class, and we were in sixth grade. We're in religion class, and our teacher was like, okay, so what you guys need to know is that these priests, they're not gay because they're a priest. And all of us were like, one, that's neither here nor there. Second, that's not the thing that we're like worried about.
Right. That's interesting.
What?
Yeah.
And I remember all of us just looking at each other like, who cares about that? Like, we don't care if it was, they were gay. That's not the thing that any of us are worried about. And I think all of us were just looking at each other, and there was a lot of things about Catholic school that like eroded my illusion of like authority or like
you and so many others.
Yes.
There's so many people with that story.
So I mean, this was like one in the line of like 100 things. I was just like,
every character in the movie is that story.
Yes.
Literally every single character in the movie almost, except for the guy who took over the paper.
Yeah.
Who's played really well, by the way, by Liev Schreiber. He's great. That's a tough role.
That's a tough role. Yeah.
Anyway.
Man, those great performances.
Liev Schreiber is always a little, like, very tight with it. Like, that's just kind of his way.
Yeah.
But this was a good outing for him. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. So, so my impression from the get-go was like, adults, one, don't even seem to really even understand like what the base like concern is, and two,
the nuns don't, right? This is nuns teaching you?
No, we only had one nun. She was the art teacher. This is like a kid's mom. Like her kids were in the school, like it was Mrs. Marzalek. Like she, it was like she was just someone's mom basically, which again, like, like just felt so inadequate in the moment for like what sixth graders needed in this moment to like, So yeah.
So they clearly must have felt they had to address it.
Yes.
Right, like they must have thought we gotta say something.
We gotta say something.
So,
and apparently the thing that they thought that they needed to say was like the who's and the bouts and the wheres and the nuts and bolts, and all of us were just like,
how would you explain to a child what child molestation is?
Oh man, I don't even.
Would you explain it?
I think I would just say like having sex with kids. I don't know if
you would.
I think so. Yeah, at sixth grade, you've had family life in fifth grade. At that point,
you would tell kids that the priests had sex with people like you.
Yeah. I would.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
mean,
tough. I don't know about that.
It's tough. I mean,
You can't lie about it.
well,
I
that's
just don't
the thing
know.
is
Yeah.
that's what we all knew, though. So that's why it was even weirder.
So does that
for
mean?
her
So
to-
does that mean for you in a Catholic school when you heard it? I'm not arguing with you. I'm just
Oh
asking.
no, yeah.
In a Catholic school, when you heard about this, you are all talking about it? Is that what's happening?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. There
Yeah.
wasn't anyone that didn't know. I mean, the thing is, like, and again, this is not excluded, like, our community is really small. So, and we had never had anything like
it's such a huge
that.
scandal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's such a huge scandal. It felt very far away, even though, like, we were in a Catholic church. But, like, within the Catholic church, there are people that don't like the people who run the church. You know, there's, like 1,000 different opinions of the Catholic Church within the Catholic Church. Exactly. So it was not untoward to hear, like even like women not being able to be priests and stuff. That was like a conversation that was happening
Of
while
course,
I was,
right.
So it's like I had never been shielded from harsh criticism of the church. So to hear more, even as a child, like didn't surprise me.
Okay.
Church is man-made,
Sure.
And has the flaws of man, at least, from my
Sure.
teaching or whatever. So like none of it surprised me. The thing that surprised and disappointed me was how, adults handled it. I would even say the priests in our school handled it better than any of the, adults, like
the parents, you mean?
the parents or the principal, or any other of
the
the
people who
family.
are asked to be your instructors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they're the ones that have to break all the bad news.
That's true. That's
And
true.
they're your immediate spin,
Yeah.
And so this movie sort of transports you back to that experience.
Yes. Yeah. So this came out, what year did this came out?
2015.
2015. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So I had graduated at that point, far beyond. Yeah. So I had graduated college at that point. But I did watch it when I was back home. And I think, the first time I stayed up late by myself, my parents had, accounts for all the streaming services. I was home for Christmas and I was like, I am going to watch this. And
Sure.
I was very excited to watch. I mean, it was,
Sure.
I watched all the nominated movies, and this one in particular, I was very excited to watch, and I watched it like alone starting at midnight. Stayed all just like alone in the house I grew up. And the emotional journeys that all of the journalists went on was like the adult version of tiny little 6th grade Maggie of being like, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's what. So that brings me back to the comment I was going to make about Mark Ruffalo's character, Mike. I don't remember his last name, but Mike gets really upset when they don't go public with the. How do I explain this? Basically, they got some documents that prove the church knew about this scandal and was covering it up.
Yeah.
They've been hunting for it the whole movie, and he finds out there's actually this back door to get these documents from a different motion in a court hearing that's actually public record, and he has to fight for them, and then he gets them, and his editor's like, we got to hold on to this because we're not done investigating, and he freaks out. And then he has probably the only scene where they like take a break from investigating and like just two reporters sit and like process. It's kind of the only scene like that.
Yeah.
And he says, I always thought one day I would go back.
Yeah.
And then something here broke.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the only thing that it's the only time any of them talk about their personal connection to the church. And I thought that line was really thoughtfully included.
Yeah.
And it felt very true.
Yes. Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are lapsed Catholics sort of think that one day they'll come back to it.
Right. Or even to just like when you think about your family, you can't extrapolate that from all the time. It's like intrinsically when I go home, my high school is next to the church, which is where everyone, it's just like it's so connected to the community that,
and I just think it's community, but it's more than that. It is more than that. I mean, like, as the movie says so many times, it's like God was doing this.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo's character, I think, it's not community that brought him back to the church. It's identity. Like he felt like it was a part of him that that broke. And I think that one line does such a great job of communicating the actual blast radius impact of this.
Yeah. On a very personal level.
And one of the most personal lines actually communicates the broadest impact.
Yes.
Not the most painful impact, but
Right.
the broad impact.
Right.
That I think a lot of people, I mean, frankly, it's the only thing that anybody, when you meet them out in the world, that if you mention the Catholic Church, it's the first thing they're going to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a brand they're going to live with for a generation.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a terrible, terrible tragedy. It's
That's really what it is,
Yeah.
first and foremost. As a kid,
It's a tragedy,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a tragedy. And even as a kid, you're not even really able to process that part of. That was the other thing that this movie helped me with, is like, when you're a kid, you can't, if that hadn't happened to you, it is hard. You can say like, say it's a tragedy, but to like, to feel it is very like different, or, to like hear people talk about it directly, or as an actor, see like someone talking about their experience. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the genius things about the movie, is that, you actually get these interviews with people, and they're old enough to understand what happened, but they're still being asked now, but they're being asked to recount the events. And they're heartbreaking. Like they're really heartbreaking. Like there's like this guy, there's one guy who felt like so Boston to me. He goes, his name is Patrick, and he doesn't want to be his name to be in it, and he's got track marks on his arm. And he's very much a tough guy type of guy. Well, not tough guy, but like a little bit of a harder case.
Yeah.
On his best behavior, but a hard case, and like you just hear how this thing just destroyed his life. I mean, it's not the only thing, but it destroyed his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is about this event, I mean, like we all kind of pass over and judge this, and that's fine. I'm not here to argue about that. But it's this. I mean, the movie really brought up a lot of feelings of sorrow for me. I was very sad this time watching it, more than I've ever been watching it.
Yeah.
Because I thought more about this question. And like one scene that just really crushed my heart was the old woman reading that newspaper for the first time. She spent her whole life going to this church, and her granddaughter brought this story out, and it's like it's crushing her spirit. It's and it's so disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, and it's exactly what it is. I mean, yeah, for someone to feel like, I mean, yeah, here's, my everything, my yada, yada, yada. And then to have it so ripped away from you, the thing you gave so much. Again, like Mark Ruffalo says, it's like,
I mean,
broke.
That's where I agree, but I also like, that's where the part of me that is fair-minded, I guess, or maybe contrarian, I don't know, says like, well, no, everything that she got out of church, she still got it. Like the church disappointed her, but it didn't change what the church is. But it hurts. It's both things.
Yeah.
It didn't change what she got out of it, but it's both things. It's a betrayal. Yeah, it's yeah. And that's just it, you know what I mean? And she has to find a way to make sense of that.
I think one thing that it does do in regards to like, tainting what she would have gotten out of the church is, again, I mean, going back to like, like growing up and like, people trying to impress that, and it's like, well, one, I'm a woman and I'm smarter than every guy in my class. So there is no good reason why I shouldn't be a quote unquote leader or whatever. So
the leadership issue was a problem for you.
Yes. Yeah. And
Okay,
especially because it was church leadership, it was just like, and then the person who was in charge of that did nothing. And the person who was in charge of him did nothing.
Right, so
and
it's
then
about
he
the
did
leadership
nothing. And then
failures.
he did nothing. And then he did nothing. So in that kind of way, it does feel like a house of mirrors and cards of a bunch
Sure.
of, you know.
They have this great character in the movie that you never meet, but he's actually a really important character for like actually understanding this. And it's this guy who wrote a book that was like researching this trend. I forget what his name is, like Sippo or something like that. I don't remember his name. You never meet him. It's only on phone calls. But he has some of the most interesting data points. One of them is that the real problem here is the celibacy law.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Is like that these people are not allowed to be
People.
to have sex. Like they're
Yeah.
not allowed to
Yeah.
because of like they have to be single.
Right.
And they're not following that rule.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
Yeah.
Like I think this movie says something like 50% are not following it, and I fully believe that.
Absolutely.
And then
yes.
just statistically, like this kind of behavior is predictable, and
Yes.
that's also a tragedy.
Yes.
Because like of course it is, but unfortunately, this culture of like hiding from the behavior because nobody's following this rule is creating a sort of a cover-up, like a massive cover-up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very profound insight that is absolutely true.
That's
and-
also, I mean, like in high school, you know, like, this is might be TMI, but whatever, we're friends. But I have always had a very high sex drive, like, you know, and I did not have sex until way later in my life. But like, you know, I would masturbate all the time.
Okay.
And I would always feel, I mean, I guess guilty, but I eventually gave up, like, because I was like, I cannot keep feeling guilty about this thing that I like.
Masturbation's a real challenge.
Yeah.
With like
Yeah.
With sexual law that says no sex outside of marriage, masturbation becomes a really confusing issue.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like
Right. And they say you're
and
not
it's been a
supposed-
confusing issue.
It's
you know,
and like every guy that I knew was not, you know, and it was like, you know, again, the thing of like, okay, so it is fine. And so then.
well, or maybe even a better way to say it is, it's happening.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
it's happening. So.
It's happening. So what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
You know, like what's
Right.
what can we do about it?
Right.
It's weird that nobody ever questions the idea of celibacy in the papacy,
Yeah.
because there's, I mean, like I'm going to go out on a limb here. There's not a great basis for that in scripture.
No,
like,
absolutely
there's no
not.
scriptural basis.
In
for
high
that.
school, it was, and it's same with like women not being able to be. I remember asking specifically, and they told me
That's all from 1 Timothy and 1 Corinthians, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And also just like the one that I heard was, well, Jesus was a revolutionary, so if he wanted women apostles, he would have picked. He would have had them. I was like, Mary Magdalene was with them the whole time, first and foremost. Secondly, what?
That's a reductive view of the church's
Yes,
history with women.
yes.
Women were the first people to see the resurrection, which
Right.
in that culture is its own revolution.
Right.
Women were not considered legally binding testimony at that time in the
Yeah.
nation of Israel, and the resurrection was testified to first and foremost by women. That's a wild idea.
Yeah.
But aside from that, 'cause, so I have a little history with this subject.
Oh, interesting.
I have, well, I have a lot of history with this subject. But one piece of history is that I was with a small group of kids when I was in junior high, and some of them were molested,
Oh, wow.
and
yeah.
by a leader,
Oh, man. Yeah.
and the details were not dissimilar to this story, and I guess I don't want to say too much because I don't want people to track them down or anything. But like, please don't. But like, all I'll say is, it would be pretty easy to draw the lines of their life to that moment, and say for some of them it was a really, really destructive thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
very upsetting. And I'm not a Catholic. I was not raised Catholic. But the reality of people who use these institutions for criminal sexual gratification is it's a thing. It exists.
Yeah.
And part of the reason it exists is because churches are generally trying to be welcoming and inclusive to a degree, and so people exploit that. I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, people. I mean,
know?
you're supposed to be able to trust it, feel safe there. Yeah, I mean, but the same goes for like, now as an adult, I have friends that not either from leaders or even the most common is like within the family or like very close friends. It's like the vast majority of cases like that are people that know the family, that are around,
That's true.
in the church, connected.
It also happens, it seems to, I'm not, like, I haven't researched this. It also seems to happen anytime a church has a kind of giant corporate infrastructure and there's not enough oversight.
Yeah, yes.
It seems like you get little cells of that kind of behavior. Because I saw it a couple times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Man.
this movie hits home.
It does. Yeah.
But for me, it doesn't make me like furious at the church. I know some people, that's how they're going to react to it.
It doesn't make me furious. It's
a mistake that I understand. I don't not understand. It's a mistake that feels human. I see the human fear behind every decision here. But the nice thing about this movie is that you actually feel the cost. Like you really feel the victimization. And a lot of times with these stories you don't.
Yeah.
This time you did, and it's like you destroyed so many people.
For what? Why?
For rules that didn't need to be.
No.
I mean, not even just for that, to protect your own credibility.
Yeah.
At the expense of your credibility. Yeah. It's ugly.
I mean, yeah.
It's ugly and it makes me sad.
Being a kid that grew up in it, I feel like I'll play some
on Catholic church.
Yeah.
People are really quick to do that.
From
I
within
understand
it,
that.
I absolutely will and did. But again, like I said, there's a huge variety of how people even feel about the Catholic Church within the Catholic Church. And it's like, again, your small church can feel so disconnected from, even though it's not.
I mean, that's the other thing this movie did so well is sort of plant. They kind of cut the legs out from the main Catholic arguments.
Yes.
And I think that was really smart.
Yes.
It was really smart because they don't really matter when it's about trying to stop people from telling the truth. They just don't matter. It's a really effective movie. No. Glad you picked it. Should we move on to my movie? Okay.
Woo! Time for something a little different.
A little different. Not entirely different.
Not entirely different.
Yeah. So the movie I picked for this was David O. Russell's Three Kings.
Three Kings.
Have you seen this before?
No.
Oh, you've never seen it before?
No, I had never seen it before.
Oh, tell me your impressions.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it didn't. What year did this come out?
1999.
1999.
I saw it in theaters,
feel like
too.
A 99 movie, in that it felt ahead of its time, although it is very cheeky in its in that like kind of 90s era.
It's 90s in the sense that it has a music video sensibility.
Yes, George Clooney. The cast is very yes.
Well, the cast is very musical. You got Ice Cube and you have Spike Jonze and Marky Mark.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a lot of like musical power players. It's a cool movie for sure.
Cool, yes.
It's like almost like a pre-Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because David O. Russell never made anything like this again. This is kind of the only film like this that he made.
Interesting, because he was outed as an asshole.
He's an asshole. Yeah. But later. Later.
Yeah.
This is a big movie for a young director.
Yeah.
Like the money and the scale of it and the balls of it.
Yeah, the ball. Yeah. That's really what it's got. Balls.
Oh, it's got massive balls.
Yeah,
so anybody who hasn't seen it, first of all, go see it or watch it. You're going to really like it. It's a very good movie. I say it's 90s, but it also still kind of doesn't feel dated.
No, it feels very...
it would be a cool movie today.
Yes, movies like this have been made in the recent...
Lots of movies want to be like this movie.
Yes.
It's one of the first big George Clooney movies. Like
Is it really?
Yeah, 99. He'd been in a few, but like this is right on his rise.
Yeah.
So it's and also I think it's one of Mark Wahlberg's first movies,
Probably,
big movies.
yeah.
So here's what it's about. It's at the end of the first Iraq War, and they're wrapping things up. They've already beaten the Americans have already beaten the Iraqi soldiers, and so they're in this ceasefire. But we follow these 3 soldiers who discover a map to a cache of gold, of Iraqi gold, or Kuwaiti gold that the Iraqis have stolen. That's the idea.
Yeah.
So they go there because they want to steal it.
Yeah.
You know, like
No,
they're
sitting there.
Yeah, it's basically a heist film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the process, they end up discovering this band of sort of rebel Iraqis who are going to be killed by by Saddam's army, and they sort of try to do both things: have the heist, but also, you know, protect these Iraqis who need help. And they make some mistakes, and they're very serious mistakes.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's
a
very adventurous version of that.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, this is before the Second Iraq War happened. It's before September 11th. Yeah. So here I am, 18.
Yeah.
And I saw this movie.
Oh wow.
Okay.
You saw it in theaters.
I saw it in theaters
my
because
God,
honestly, the
yeah.
trailer was awesome. This
Yes.
movie looked like a home run.
The thing that's cool about this is that considering how ballsy it is, they can absolutely it is again. It's like
this movie delivered. I
Yeah,
thought this movie really delivered. Now here's what you need to know about what it was like in 1999 for an American teenager.
Yeah.
So like, most of us didn't question whether the Iraq War was a good thing. Like, we just didn't question that.
Yeah, because why would it?
Why would we?
Right.
We
Why
kicked
wouldn't
their
we
ass.
Do that? Yeah.
We kicked their ass.
Yeah.
It was short. Basically the only reason Americans died was because we shot ourselves. It was friendly fire. So, and like the media and everybody who talked about it was like, yes. It was very like fist pumping.
USA,
yes, it was USA chant. Exactly. That was the vibe. So like the Persian Gulf War, which is what we called it, was an unquestioned success. It was a statement about our dominance. We did a good thing.
We showed
felt
our
very
schlong,
good.
and it was long.
Yeah. And like none of us, I mean, I'm sure that these viewpoints existed, but they were not mainstream.
No.
And so just, I didn't question that. You know, didn't question it at 18.
Yeah.
And this movie completely disrupts that in every single way. The first thing it does is flat out state, the army's controlling the media. They're controlling the media in this film, and they're hiding the truth about what is really going on from the media, and the media is playing along for their scoops.
Right.
So that alone, for an 18-year-old was like, whoa. Because you have to remember, we weren't cynical about stuff like that back then.
No.
You know, like there had been no weapons of mass destruction foibles.
Right. There had been no sex scandal of the church to shake the belief.
That's true.
Exactly.
It's before that even.
Yeah.
So like, so that assumption alone, which was like the premise of this movie, was pretty startling. The behavior of the soldiers was very startling because you're seeing Johnny G.I. Joe over there behaving himself, saluting, drinking his water, like being a good soldier.
Guy, yeah.
And then this movie starts with a drunken party after they, in cold blood, murdered an Iraqi.
Yeah.
Like, just murdered him in cold blood. He's waving a white flag, and they killed him. And it's like, and that just happens.
That's
it.
just the start of the movie.
That's just the start of the movie,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa. And I think perhaps the most profound thing is the movie on a premise level asks us to first understand the Persian Gulf War is bullshit. First, that's that.
Yes.
Second, now we're going to do a send up of it, which is pretty wild on its own. And then third, we're going to actually ask our characters to do the Persian Gulf War the way they're supposed to have done it. Instead of going after gold, which is what we did.
Yeah.
There's now actually rescue some Iraqis at your own expense.
Yeah.
Like actually die for that cause.
Right. Because you said that's what we were doing
Right.
there.
And
you said that.
That's the genius of this movie. That's like the civic art form of this movie and why it matters.
Yeah.
Because it shows in a very clever not even really that preachy way.
No, I get it. Like backs it up with these action scenes.
Yeah.
You know, it like
It's very well made,
yes,
but it
yeah.
on a premise level, it shows what it would have been like if we'd really tried to do our job
Yeah.
as like peacekeepers. Now, I'm not saying that the movie is 100% accurate either,
Right, yeah.
or
yeah,
that this is
yeah.
the only way to see things.
Right.
But
But especially
this
for the
premise-
time. Oh my god.
well, today's topic is a movie that changes your perspective on history.
Yeah.
And for an 18-year-old, when I watched this
God.
movie, and I was, you're just old enough to start really going, wait a minute.
Right.
Like, what's this? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just a goof. It was a legitimate punch in the jowls to your
Yeah.
beliefs about your country.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful to this filmmaker for that. I mean, I really am. It's like, this is a really smart, well-made piece of civic satire.
I could not believe.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Also, George
awesome.
Clooney rules in it.
He's great.
Ice Cube
Amazing.
rules in it.
Ice Cube's great in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when you were watching it?
I mean, basically the same. I grew like my 18 was, in the 9/11 era. So
right.
it was
You
almost,
were a kid during 9/11.
Yeah. I was a kid during 9/11. So, that like rah rah, like Americana, is like the resurgence of that is what, I grew up in. And
you grew up in a version that was much more poison pilled than mine was.
Yes,
mine was
yes.
wholesome in the sense that it was not as rage filled. It was more just a blind
it was more
acceptance.
Just like, yeah, which is, absolutely. So like putting myself like in that mindset, it was mostly just like, I can't believe this movie was made and no way would it get made after 9/11. I mean,
it's sort of this perfect little relic that kind of can't exist.
No,
Like it's sort of just got through before, history changed. And it does show us who we are and who we're gonna be.
Yeah.
It's still a 90s movie, so people get a happy ending even though they shouldn't. I think now if it was made, none of these guys would have a happy ending. That wouldn't happen. So that's very 90s about it. But it does, I think it really intelligently shows the cancerous pieces of American psyche.
There's
like,
one
really
great interchange I just want to bring up. There's a moment where an Iraqi's like, my son was shot.
Oh, that
like,
scene, the interrogation scene, best scene in the movie.
The best scene in the movie.
Really good.
A guy, said,
What's up, dude, bro? That guy. He's fucking awesome because he's the same as Mark Wahlberg. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's exactly what I was about to say. So he's like, I lost my son. Marky Mark, as a human being would be like, oh, we're both human. I'll get on. And Marky Mark's like, I have a daughter too. And the Iraqi's like, good for you. I don't have, mine's dead.
I don't have a son anymore.
I don't have a son anymore. I just told you, we are not the same. You can't, we are, but we're not because you took mine from me.
Mark Wahlberg's American, like the American soldier that he's playing there. At first you feel bad for him because he's being tortured, but then, especially now, as time has gone on, you feel a lot more like you're just not in the same league as this guy. Like this guy, like you don't understand the person you're dealing with here. This guy has suffered on a level you'll never understand. You're not going to understand it.
No. So
you look like a little boy in this room. It's true. That scene is very haunting to this day. He makes him drink oil. Which is another great metaphor. Like David L. Russell really, really thought this through. If there's a lot to get out of it. I mean, now these are basically like the standard opinions of the internet, so you're not gonna
sure
be surprised by them now.
But I always like to view movies in their time frame, because
it's
that
way
is
ahead of its
such
time.
a big part of it.
Way ahead of its time. This movie's way ahead of its time. And I think the reason why is because it's honest. Like it's one of the more honest films I've seen. That's not going for authenticity.
Right.
It's going for satire.
Yeah.
And I think in that way, it's like it didn't pull its punches. This is a film I absolutely wish I could put my name on. Just like slap my name on it. That movie, that is a home run. It's fucking great.
It's great.
Yeah, I don't think it won any awards. Doesn't matter. It's a piece of history that deserves to be remembered. You know, for me, and like I just hope everybody when they get to that age, that really young, like there's about 4 years there after high school, or maybe high school included, where you're really forming your views. You know, like you've had views and now you're forming your own. And I hope that there's movies out there for people like that to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, like not necessarily even to the views that I have, but
to
their own
yourself.
truth.
Yes,
like
to your own truth.
You know,
movies that like realign your, inner juices compass.
Yeah,
like,
the sort of feel like the world as you perceive is not all there is. It's not all. It's not you. There's more that you didn't understand or see. Movies have always been that to me.
The best movies at their best do
yes.
that. Yes,
the best ones do that.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like people still finally remember it for that reason.
I think so. Yeah.
It's a shame that David O. Russell's a dick. That's a bummer. But he made a damn good movie here.
Yeah.
Damn good movie. This would be a great career movie if you just made this. It's like good career, man. Okay, so it's time to thank our final producers here, don't you think?
I think so.
Okay, so did we thank Jesse Clay?
We did not. I think
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Timothy Schreiner.
Timothy Schreiner.
Thank you to Sarah Sexton.
Thank you, Sarah Sexton.
Okay, I kind of hung on that too long. Sorry, Sarah Sexton. She's got a good sense of humor, though. So.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jessica M.
Jessica M.
Thanks to Blake Prescott.
Thank you, Blake Prescott.
Dog Walker.
Dog walker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Making a living. Getting through grad school.
Rough.
Okay.
Okay.
Something clever.
Thank you, something clever.
I like that he's sticking with it. Like that they're sticking with it.
Me too.
Maybe not
me
he.
too.
Like that they're sticking with it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Adam Duncan.
Thank you, Adam Duncan.
Thanks to Nate.
Thanks, Nate Blank.
Thank you to Nicholas Fabian.
Nicholas Fabian.
Nobody's gotten more thanks from us than Nicholas Fabian.
No,
We're trying to give you your money's worth in thanks, Nicholas
yeah.
Fabian.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully one day we'll see each other at a ballpark. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, is it you, Nicholas Fabian? We order each other a hot dog, throw it across the stadium. You know, that would be like my favorite way to greet somebody from afar. Like, you want a hot dog? And then you throw it at them. There you go. All right, Michael, Astronomy Domini Hudson. Is it Domini? Is it Domine?
I would assume, otherwise.
Astronomy Domini.
Astronomy Domini.
Michael Hudson's always trying some clever ass shit out here.
Yeah.
And I'm half grateful now. I'm half grateful.
Funny. He made you say it like 5 times.
Yeah, well, so I guess he did. I guess he did win this round. So I guess he gets my thanks.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to Stephen Asarian. Okay. Thanks to Adam by the Birch.
Adam by the Birch.
Boy, this guy deserves like a child sitcom or something, right?
I was thinking he's like a frog storyteller.
He's just a frog.
He's just a frog.
What if he's just a frog? It's just a frog who
frog.
contributes to this.
Yeah.
With his frog money. We take it. Yeah. No detectable reaction whatsoever to this podcast. They play it for the frog.
Yep.
The frog just makes no reaction whatsoever. Maybe the frog enjoys it. Thanks, Adam by the Birch. Thanks to Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks to Parvene Angus.
Parvene Angus.
Never got in touch with us.
Well,
Yeah.
All right.
The mystery remains.
That mystery remains.
I guess so. Okay. Thanks to Gentacular.
Thank you, Gentacular.
That's a name with an exclamation point behind it.
Absolutely,
Right?
Gentacular.
What a fun human. Okay. Thanks to Bro J.
Thanks, Bro J.
Okay.
Classic.
Yeah. Oh, that's classic Coke for names. Bro J.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thanks to Luke Andrew.
Thank you, Luke Andrew.
Doctor.
Mystery man.
Doctor of mysteries. A doctor of mysteries.
He makes mysteries and lets other people solve them. Otherwise, detectives would have no job.
He makes, so this is like Hogwarts. Like that's what this guy works.
Yes,
Hogwarts.
yes, he works at Hogwarts.
Okay, sure. Why not? Okay. Thanks to Seth and Quinn's mom.
Thank you, Seth and Quinn's mom.
Seems like what a neat lady.
Yeah.
Can we get a Seth and Quinn update?
Yeah, how they doing?
Yeah, what are they up to?
Seth, Quinn,
Yeah. Are they like Wonder Twins? Or
Are they
like
friends? Do they fight? Probably.
Oh, do they fight? They're probably twins, right?
Oh, maybe.
They're probably twins.
Okay, they're twins.
Yeah.
I've decided.
Yeah. Do they have to wear what? How long did they have to wear matching onesies before they were allowed to get their own clothes?
As long as their mom
16.
wanted it. Yeah, 16.
When you graduate high school, you can have your own clothes. Yeah. Okay. Ben Menashe.
Thank you, Ben Menashe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jeff Tran.
Jeff Tran, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you to Donna Milligan. Knower of taverns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Doesn't
a person-
own one, but knows them.
Knows if you need
Knows.
taverns, you go to Donna Milligan.
Yep.
Right? You need a tavern. He's like, hey, Donna, where is a tavern? 6 miles this way.
Yeah. He'll know. He'll know. He's also a frog.
Also a frog. Yeah, that's right. Thanks to Evan Fineout.
Thank you, Evan Fine.
I feel like a thread.
Yeah,
That's the name of the
I
thread.
know, I
yeah.
know. Get out
I'm
of
Evan.
here.
Okay. Thanks to Seth T. Goyne.
Safety going.
Is that a real name?
I almost read it as groin.
I mean,
and
obviously.
I thought it was a joke.
Right.
but That might be. That's probably.
You think it's his real name? Seth T. Goyne. Is it your real name?
Yeah.
We're still grateful. Either way.
Either way.
Could be a fake name. I don't care. Okay. Thanks to Charlie Artful.
Charlie Artful. That's another one that could be real or fake. It could be either.
That's not real.
Yeah. Oh.
Artful? Like what a country of origin is artful from?
I don't know. Mine's fish. I feel like I can't. Sometimes it's just a noun.
It's true. I mean, it's
I guess
rare
it's
to
a
have a person
description.
named directly after an animal.
true.
Like there's no like Chad Lion. That doesn't really exist. So I guess you're unique in that way. But a fish is also like a job.
Sure. That's true.
So I don't know. Seth T. Goyne and Charlie Artful are really pushing our categories.
Yeah.
They're the ones changing our views of history. That's what's happening here. Okay. Blah noise. Thanks to a cheese sandwich.
That one's definitely real.
What if they're all fake and that's the only
That's
real
the
one?
real one.
And thank you finally to Driftless. Beautiful.
Finally to Driftless, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful person Driftless is. Okay. Physically beautiful.
Yeah. Ugly person on the inside, terrible.
No idea what
person.
kind of human
Yeah,
being they
yeah.
are, but wonderful, beautiful body.
Also a frog.
Got really in on frogs today. Went way in on it. Okay, well, that's all there is of this.
Yeah,
We did it.
We did it.
Hopefully.
I showed you mine. You showed me yours.
Yeah. And now we're both going to jail.
We're adults.
Yeah. Well, barely.
Whew.
Yeah. What an unfortunate title for a show for this episode. Now that I think about
true.
it. Yeah. Well,
Well,
I guess the content police will have to come arrest us.
yeah. Well,
At your wedding in Norway.
in Norway.
What if you did have a wedding in Norway among the
I know people
fjords?
from Norway.
That's a wedding.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wedding.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I won't see you again until the wedding,
No,
but what
we'll
a great
see you
time
then.
we'll have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
I'll
be
be there.
super
Hopefully,
fun.
we'll see if I end up doing backup duties.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
We'll see.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The Beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!